A lone man with a small blade faces down a colossal, lightning-charged beast. The creature's immense power blasts him backward through the forest. As he tumbles, a flood of unfamiliar memories suddenly fills his mind. He now recognizes this monster as an enraged beast from his newfound knowledge. The memories confirm his location, a planet known as Blue Star. He sees a vision of the past, the year 2200, when massive space rifts first split the sky. From these rifts, an endless horde of terrifying creatures poured out to invade the world. The beast dealt a devastating blow, leaving humanity's cities in ruins. Amid the chaos, humans discovered they could absorb a mysterious life force to gain incredible power. These new warriors, called martial artists, became the last line of defense, fighting from fortified strongholds. He remembers his past life ending, overwhelmed by a relentless wave of zombies. Now he's been reborn into this dangerous new world of monsters and superpowered warriors. His eyes widen as the reality of his current deadly situation crashes down on him. The lightning beast lets out a ferocious roar, ready to unleash its devastating power. He bravely meets the charge, locking hands with the monster in a desperate struggle for survival. He realizes with dread that the creature's body is coursing with a fatal electric current. The powerful energy surges through him, causing immense strain as he holds on. The beast's raw power proves too much, violently throwing him backward. A massive electrical explosion detonates, engulfing the area in a blinding flash. Emerging from the chaos, he catches his breath, his gaze fixed and unwavering. The beast is momentarily trapped under a pile of shattered trees, roaring in fury. Seeing his opening, he leaps forward, blade in hand, determined to end this now. He unleashes a desperate flurry of slashes, aiming for a critical blow. But his efforts are futile. He's completely drained and the beast is unharmed. He curses his new body's weakness, realizing its previous owner had no talent for fighting. The grim truth dawns on him. The original owner came here not to hunt, but to die. The enraged beast breaks free, its eyes glowing with murderous intent as it prepares to attack again. He finds himself staring down the creature's throat, its massive jaws ready to snap shut. A fierce determination ignites within him. He refuses to let this second life end so meaninglessly. He realizes the beast's electrical power is also its weakness, and stakes everything on one last all-or-nothing attack. Just as the beast attacks, a powerful armored fist slams into its jaw, sending it flying. He can only stare up in shock, his eyes wide with disbelief at the sudden rescue. A mysterious figure with long purple hair appears, looking down with a somber expression. The warrior, Chen Xiwei, materializes before him, urging him to escape the battlefield. His mind races as he recognizes her, the childhood friend of this body's original owner. A flood of memories, sharp as broken glass, suddenly overwhelms his senses. He sees a vision of their parents, happily discussing an arranged marriage for them as children. The memory shifts to a darker time, showing them as young orphans after their parents' tragic deaths. He recalls her promising to hunt a beast and find a treasure to awaken his hidden talent. But the original owner had cruelly rejected her help, pushing her and their engagement away. He remembers the original owner lashing out, blaming her family for the tragedy that orphaned them both. He's filled with contempt for his past self's ungrateful and cruel treatment of the one person who cared for him. Snapped back to reality, he sees Chen Xiwei suddenly falter, looking weak and unsteady. She clutches her head, realizing the fight against the beast took a much heavier toll than she let on. As she collapses from exhaustion, he instinctively lunges forward to catch her. He realizes she's severely injured, having rushed to his side immediately after a dangerous mission. His gentle concern catches her off guard, a stark contrast to the cold silence she's grown used to. Shaking off her surprise, she warns him that the defeated beast will release a scent to summon its pack. She stands her ground, insisting he flee immediately while she holds off the inevitable reinforcements. A strange, unsettling sound from the darkness above suddenly freezes them both in place. Chen Xiwei instantly drops into a defensive stance, sensing the approaching danger. A pack of monstrous, red-eyed beasts materializes from the darkness, their numbers overwhelming. The creatures surge forward, their bodies crackling with the same deadly lightning as their fallen leader. She shoves him away, her expression fierce as she urges him to flee the battlefield. With no other choice, she charges into the fray, her armored fist meeting the beasts head-on. The impact creates a massive explosion of purple energy, engulfing the entire clearing. Already weakened, the force of the blast throws her backward, the strain proving too much. Her powerful strike sends a few of the beasts flying, but the rest of the pack closes in. He reacts in a flash, catching her as she falls and shielding her with his own body. He winces in pain as they slam into a tree, taking the brunt of the impact himself. He looks down in horror, realizing Xiwei has fallen unconscious in his arms. One of the lightning beasts stalks forward, its red eyes locked on its cornered prey. Panic grips him as the overwhelming odds sink in, leaving him paralyzed with fear. The entire pack surrounds them, cutting off any hope of escape through the dense woods. He curses his helplessness, knowing that if a warrior like her failed, his own weak body is useless. A wave of self-loathing hits him as he fears repeating the past and causing another's demise. Desperation turns into a burning resolve. He refuses to accept this fate and frantically seeks a solution. In the chaos, his hand accidentally makes contact with the body of the defeated beast leader. A strange glowing blue interface suddenly materializes from the point of contact, enveloping his hand. He stares in disbelief, completely baffled by the mysterious phenomenon unfolding before him. The mysterious interface confirms the activation of a strange absorption system. He's stunned as the system identifies the fallen beast and offers him the chance to absorb its power. With the pack closing in and no other options, he desperately chooses to activate the absorption. The system notifies him of a successful transfer, offering him a subpar electric attribute talent. Without a moment's hesitation, he accepts the newfound power regardless of its quality. An excruciating surge of purple lightning engulfs his body as the power transfer begins. The raw energy erupts from him in a violent explosion, tearing up the surrounding forest floor. This powerful blast sends the attacking beasts reeling, giving him a precious moment of breathing room. He rises to his feet, feeling the crackling energy in his hands and realizing he's just inherited the beast's power. The remaining beasts regroup to surround him, but this time he stands ready to face them head-on. He channels the crackling purple lightning into his small, worn-out blade. Brimming with newfound power, he meets the charge of the first beast head-on. His ordinary knife now pulses with a lethal, otherworldly energy. He marvels as the immense power continues to build within his once weak frame. Sensing the overwhelming aura, the once ferocious pack instinctively recoils in fear. To his astonishment, he realizes his wounds have healed, and his movements are now incredibly agile. His senses are heightened, revealing the beast's attacks as slow and their tough hides as suddenly vulnerable. With this newfound clarity, he confidently leaps into the fray, knowing he can now tear through their defenses. His resolve solidifies into an unbreakable will to not only win, but to protect Xiwei at all costs. With a single unwavering thought, he commits to the attack, ready to change his fate. He becomes a blur of purple lightning, weaving through the attacking beast with blinding speed. He lets out a ferocious battle cry, unleashing the raw, untamed energy coursing through his veins. The battlefield becomes a chaotic vortex of electricity as he effortlessly dispatches the monsters. With newfound grace, he twists through the air, his electrified blade carving a path through the pack. Each strike is precise and devastating, turning the once lethal beasts into falling embers. A cold focus settles in his eyes, the chaotic power now completely under his command. He stands alone in the silent clearing, the entire pack of monsters now defeated at his feet. He contemplates his victory, realizing he's only just begun to understand the true extent of his new talent. The mysterious system interface suddenly materializes before him, preparing to calculate his combat data. The results are staggering, revealing his lightning attribute has more than tripled his overall strength. He smirks, realizing his new power level is now on par with an intermediate martial apprentice. The system reveals his base strength alone has skyrocketed, even before activating the lightning. He calmly analyzes the data, noting the electric attribute effectively doubles his power output. Beyond just strength, he feels his entire body has been revitalized and is healthier than ever. Just then, the system interface chimes again, actively searching for another target. It locks onto the fallen beast leader, confirming that another absorption is possible. A thought strikes him. The system might allow him to absorb the same beast more than once. A cunning smile spreads across his face as he decides to test this very profitable theory. Without hesitation, he initiates the absorption process again, unleashing a new surge of energy. The beast's remaining life force is violently drawn out and funneled directly into him. The system confirms a successful absorption, granting him the beast's potent blood essence. He recognizes this essence as a priceless treasure that will dramatically accelerate his body's development. His attempt to absorb more is blocked by the system, which reveals a 1-month cooldown on each target. He processes this new rule, realizing he must now strategically plan his monthly absorptions for maximum gain. With the immediate threat gone, His attention returns to the still unconscious Xiwei. He gently carries her, prioritizing her safety while also planning to salvage the beast's meat for supplies. Safely back at a shelter, she rests on a couch, unconsciously calling his name in her sleep. Her troubled expression reveals she's caught in the grip of a painful nightmare. The dream plunges her back into a desperate past encounter, facing down a terrifying pack of beasts. This memory shows him trying to pull her to safety, only for her to fiercely reject his help in the heat of battle. The nightmare shows a beast overwhelming him as she watches, powerless to intervene. She turns in horror, reaching out desperately as the memory of his peril plays out. In her dream, his bloodied face is the last thing she sees as she calls out his name in terror. She jolts awake with a scream, the horrifying vision still gripping her senses. Clutching her head, she winces from a sharp pain, disoriented and weak. He calmly approaches with a bowl, his presence a stark contrast to her panicked state. With a gentle smile, he offers her something to drink, his calm demeanor putting her at ease. Her attention is drawn to an incredible feast he prepared while she was unconscious. Stunned, she asks if he cooked it all, her mind still reeling as she questions how they escaped. He confidently sidesteps her questions, explaining the beast's meat will help her recover. She looks at him with a mix of surprise and warmth, urging him to eat the meal he prepared. They sit in a heavy, awkward silence, the unspoken tension filling the room. He desperately tries to break the uncomfortable quiet, his mind racing for something to say. Xiwei remains distant and lost in thought, her expression unreadable. He concocts a lie about a passing exploration team saving them to explain their miraculous escape. Frustrated by her continued silence, he assumes she's ignoring him completely. He decides to leave, misreading her quietness as discomfort, but not before reminding her to eat more to heal. His unexpected concern finally breaks through her reverie, catching her completely by surprise. She reflects on how long it's been since he's shown her any kindness, making this moment feel unreal. Lost in the feeling, she wishes this dreamlike reality could last forever. He quietly exits the room, giving her space to recover from her ordeal. Leaning against the wall, he lets out a heavy sigh, weighed down by their complicated history. He reflects on the broken bond between his past self and Xiwei, a relationship now at a freezing point. Shaking off the past, he resolves to rely only on himself, knowing survival depends on his own strength. He decides to start immediately by refining the potent blood essence from the enraged beast. The process is instantly agonizing, a searing pain shooting through his entire body. He grits his teeth, enduring the excruciating torment as the powerful essence rewrites his physiology. His body convulses as the raw, untamed energy threatens to tear him apart from the inside. He collapses to his knees, the violent surge of power finally beginning to settle within him. With a grim smile, he embraces the pain, now determined to train and completely master this newfound power. 1 month later, he's transformed his body through relentless training in a makeshift gym. He takes a deep breath, centering himself as he prepares to test his new limits. His eyes snap open, crackling with the raw, untamed power of his lightning attribute. Purple energy surges around his body as he drops into a powerful fighting stance. He explodes into motion, a blur of speed and electricity tearing through the training space. The room becomes a vortex of his power, with lightning arcing wildly in every direction. Amidst the chaos, his control is so precise that only a single flower petal is disturbed. He catches the delicate petal in his palm, demonstrating a perfect fusion of immense power and fine control. Satisfied with his progress, he wonders just how much stronger he's become after fully refining the beast's essence. The system interface confirms his staggering growth, revealing his strength has more than doubled yet again. He flexes, feeling the raw power flowing through his newly expanded energy channels. A confident smirk plays on his lips, pleased that the blood essence alone provided such a massive boost. He recalls the grueling month of non-stop training, knowing he can't afford to let his guard down. His thoughts turn to the true geniuses of this world, whose progress far outstrips his own. After pushing his body to its limits, he takes a moment to wash away the exhaustion. He calculates that with a steady supply of beast essence, he could reach the realm of martial arts in just 6 months. Meanwhile, in another part of the training room, the sounds of a fierce workout echo through the space. Xiwei unleashes a powerful combination of kicks and punches against a training dummy. She pauses to catch her breath, sweat dripping from her brow after the intense session. The dummy's monitor flashes an impressive score, a testament to her incredible strength. She stares at her score, knowing her current strength is insufficient for the Academy's upcoming hunting trial. Her target is the formidable two-headed python, a beast that requires the power of a true martial cultivator to defeat. Acknowledging her own limitations, she realizes she still has a long and difficult path ahead. A painful memory flashes through her mind, a vision of him being overwhelmed by a monster. In the other room, he seems to sense her turmoil, a bead of sweat tracing his temple. Fueled by this traumatic memory, she channels her fear into fury, relentlessly striking the training dummy. Her intense training is all for him, a silent promise to grow strong enough to protect him. She vows to hunt the python and retrieve its legendary heart, a treasure that could rewrite his physical limitations. The scene transitions to the bustling commercial district of the Liu Yang safety base. He walks through a lively market where warriors trade beast parts and martial techniques, taking in the sights of his new world. He observes merchants hawking the remains of a level 1 wind-chasing wolf for a hefty price. His absorption system activates, scanning every beast corpse in the market as a potential target. He dismisses the low-level beasts, knowing he needs a level 2 creature for any real power boost. As he clenches his fist in determination, a group of figures suddenly blocks his path. A gang of academy students surrounds him, one sneeringly calling him out by name. Their leader, a white-haired youth, steps forward and questions what a weakling is doing in the market. The leader flashes a cruel, predatory smile, clearly enjoying the confrontation. His eyes narrow with recognition and contempt as he identifies the bully as Zhou. Zhou Qi's cronies begin to taunt him, mocking his weakness and his reliance on Chen Xiwei's protection. Zhou Qi challenges him about the upcoming hunting trial, a sinister idea forming in his mind. Zhou Qi grabs him by the collar, making a personal and menacing threat. He follows up with a vile and disrespectful threat against Chen Xiwei. The protagonist's eyes flare with a cold blue light as pure rage takes over. Zhou Qi and his lackeys just laugh, mocking his anger and calling him pathetic. The bully then challenges him to face him at the hunting trial a month from now. He instantly recognizes the challenge for what it is, a death threat he must answer first. He knows that to stand a chance against Zhou Qi, he'll need to absorb a beast far stronger than a level 2. He scans the market but finds only low-level parts, realizing level 3 beasts are incredibly rare. A look of intense focus crosses his face as he desperately searches for a way to get stronger. Just then, a commotion erupts as a famous hunting squad returns, having successfully slain a level 3 beast. The crowd parts in awe as the squad parades the corpse of a legendary level 3 earth dragon beast through the market. He feels the overwhelming power radiating from the famous Wind Chasers hunting squad, the warriors who took it down. A squad member proudly announces their recruiting, boasting of their captain's ability to hunt such powerful creatures. He knows joining them is impossible for now, but his glowing system interface presents another path. His system confirms the level 3 beast is a viable target, and a predatory grin spreads across his face. With cold determination, he decides this powerful creature will be his next absorption for the month. A child asks to touch the beast, and the hunter casually agrees, creating the perfect distraction. He recognizes this as a golden opportunity to get close without arousing any suspicion. Blending in with the curious onlookers, he reaches out and discreetly places his hand on the beast's hide. Golden energy immediately erupts from his hand, signaling the start of a secret and powerful absorption. He turns away from the beast, a sly grin on his face as he conceals the stolen golden energy. The crowd remains completely captivated by the beast, providing the perfect cover for his escape. His system confirms the heist was a success, offering him a new, powerful physique to absorb. With his prize secured, he confidently slips away to a secluded location. Back in the safety of his training room, he prepares to and family backing make him a lethal threat, so he decides his rival must be eliminated. He realizes the deep wilderness where Zhou Qi will hunt for points is the perfect place for an ambush. The transport arrives in a breathtakingly vast and dangerous forest, the designated trial grounds. An instructor checks the time, signaling the official start of the hunt. As the students prepare, Zhou Qi and his crew look eager to begin the academy's trial. With a final announcement, the students are unleashed, with Zhou Qi leading the charge into the woods. The instructors watch on, confident that Zhou Qi's family resources make him the clear frontrunner. They try to stop the protagonist, warning him that his chances of survival are practically zero. He just smirks back, coolly suggesting he's the exception to their grim statistics. His unexpected confidence leaves the instructors intrigued, sensing this year's trial might be more exciting than they thought. He ventures deep into the wilderness, understanding that danger and opportunity go hand in hand. Unable to track down Zhou Qi, he decides to test his new combat skills on the local wildlife. Just as he complains about the lack of targets, a monstrous armored hound materializes right behind him. His eyes widen as he instantly registers the lethal threat looming over him. With incredible agility, he flips over the lunging beast, narrowly avoiding its powerful charge. The system identifies his opponent as a level 1 Iron Spine Hound. As he lands, he prepares to use his absorption ability on the creature mid-combat. He knows the hound is fast and strong but has low stamina, making it a battle of attrition for most. But with a confident grin, he decides to skip the long fight and end it quickly. He unleashes a devastating column of purple lightning, striking the beast with overwhelming force. He stands over the defeated hound, realizing his new strength makes such creatures trivial opponents. Deciding his system is too valuable for this low-level beast, he opts to harvest its blood the old-fashioned way. His victory is cut short as a pack of monsters with glowing red eyes emerges from the shadows. Instead of fear, he sees the ambush as the perfect opportunity to test his limits. A wild grin spreads across his face as he eagerly channels his lightning, ready for a real fight. He unleashes his power, intending to use the entire pack as whetstones to sharpen his skills. He dives into the fray, a blur of motion and crackling energy against the monstrous pack. The sounds of the one-sided battle echo briefly through the otherwise quiet forest. One by one, the beasts fall, their bodies hitting the ground with finality. He stands victorious amidst the defeated creatures, calmly collecting his spoils after dispatching the 7th one. He lays out the 5 vials of beast blood he's collected, deciding it's a good haul for the day. Wasting no time, he immediately begins absorbing the potent liquid to increase his strength. He reflects on the blood's incredible power, though he's frustrated by the 3-day cooldown between uses. His concentration is shattered by a sudden, desperate cry for help echoing through the forest. He turns to see another student running for his life from a colossal, rampaging giant bear. The terrified student scrambles up a hill, pleading for aid as the beast's shadow looms over him. With a single devastating swipe, the bear sends the helpless student flying through the air. He realizes the bear's presence signals a nearby nest of spirit essence bees, a treasure that could solve his cooldown problem. The injured student desperately tries to bargain, offering to split the prize if they fight the beast together. A cunning smile forms on his face, knowing the spirit essence is the key to unlocking his next level of power. He stands confidently against a backdrop of monstrous beasts, his glowing eyes hinting at the power he now commands. The rampaging giant bear roars in fury, its massive frame and glowing red eyes radiating pure aggression. With a single devastating swipe, the beast sends the other student flying, his cry of terror echoing through the trees. He appears in a flash, standing over the downed student who looks up in shocked recognition. A cold fury settles in his eyes, angered by the beast's audacity to attack a human in his presence. He charges forward, his blade crackling with purple lightning as he prepares to end the monster's rampage. Realizing he can't match its raw power, he decides to outmaneuver it and strike its weak points with electricity. He leaps onto the beast's back, using its own body as a platform to launch a powerful, lightning-infused kick. His electrified blade scrapes against the bear's tough hide, the impact creating a shower of brilliant sparks. Channeling his energy, he prepares to unleash the full, devastating force of his electric talent. He unleashes a torrent of purple lightning, shocking the colossal beast from behind. But his attack only enrages the bear, its body now glowing with a menacing red aura. He realizes with dread that the pain has triggered its berserk state, making it far more dangerous. The enraged monster retaliates with a furious swipe, its speed and power now amplified, trying to throw him off in a desperate, powerful struggle. The sheer force of the beast's resistance sends a brutal shockwave back into him, causing him visible injury. Despite the intense pain and physical toll, his gaze remains unbroken, filled with cold resolve. He's thrown from the beast, his body giving out as he plummets toward the ground. His consciousness fades as he questions if this weak body has finally reached its limit. In a moment of near defeat, he feels a pang of regret for not being strong enough. Suddenly, a familiar energy surges through him, reigniting the power within his cells. He recognizes the sensation instantly. It's the potent essence of the enraged beast. The beast blood he collected earlier finally activates, flooding his body with renewed strength. Rising to his feet, he glares at the monster, declaring this battle is far from over. The bear roars in defiance, smashing the earth with a powerful ground-shaking strike. Propelled by a burst of lightning, he soars into the air, effortlessly evading the beast's attack. Fueled by a fresh wave of power, he channels his rage into an electrified fist, ready to end this. He channels all his renewed energy into a single, decisive punch aimed at the bear's head. The electrified strike slams the colossal beast into the ground, its rampage finally silenced. As the dust settles, the forest grows quiet, the only movement being birds taking flight in the evening sky. He catches his breath atop the fallen monster, his bloodied fist a testament to the brutal fight. He reflects on the near-death experience, acknowledging the beast blood was the only thing that saved him. The battle both lucky and a pathetic weakling. With a hardened gaze, he finally breaks his silence and agrees with his rival's assessment. Zhou misreads his agreement as fear, smugly asking if he's about to beg for his life. He clarifies his point with cold certainty, stating that while they aren't enemies, Chen Xiwei is his fiancée. He declares that for threatening Chen Xiwei, his rival has just signed his own death warrant. Without warning, he unleashes a torrent of purple lightning, catching Zhou completely by surprise. Zhou stares in disbelief, realizing the weakling he's been mocking has a powerful electric attribute. Recovering quickly, Zhou uses his wind talent to create distance, moving with blinding speed. The protagonist calmly assesses his rival's movements, confirming the incredible advantage of the wind attribute. But the protagonist reveals his true plan, guiding the lightning orbs to track his opponent's every move. In a flash of green light, Zhou appears right behind him, declaring that he can still land a decisive blow. The protagonist winces as the wind-infused blade cuts him, proving his rival's speed is a critical weakness. Zhou laughs, using his superior speed to land a flurry of shallow cuts while mocking his opponent's weakness. He realizes his own powerful attacks are useless if he can't land a hit, and Zhou is just wearing him down. He finally understands the wind attribute grants his rival not just speed, but superhuman reflexes. A new strategy forms. He knows Zhou must get close for a killing blow, which means his path is predictable. With a flash of insight, he realizes he can anticipate his rival's every move. Shatters, replaced by the dawning horror that his life is now on the line. He desperately tries to use his powerful father's name as a shield, but the electrified blade only moves closer. His threats quickly turn to frantic pleas as he begs for his life, offering a treasure in exchange for mercy. His eyes glow with cold fury as he silences his rival's desperate bargaining. He raises his electrified blade, ready to deliver the final merciless blow. But a system prompt freezes him in place, revealing an unbelievable new option. He can absorb a human. He turns away from his defeated rival, a far more profitable idea taking root in his mind. With a predatory look, he decides to claim the wind attribute talent for himself. He closes his eyes, feeling the rush of a new power as the wind itself bends to his will. His eyes snap open, now glowing with the vibrant green energy of his stolen talent. He tests his new ability, becoming a streak of light that tears through the forest. Even he is stunned by the blinding speed, a power far beyond his previous limits. He effortlessly weaves through the trees, his newfound agility turning the wilderness into his personal playground. He revels in his newfound power, feeling his speed has increased more than threefold. It's not just speed. His agility and control over his own body have been massively enhanced. He effortlessly scales the vertical landscape, leaving streaks of green light in his wake. The forest becomes his training ground as he pushes his new wind-based mobility to its limits. His system chimes in, revealing that Zhou's talent wasn't the only prize he claimed. He's stunned to discover he's also absorbed his rival's bronze-ranked martial art, the sky-splitting blade. The realization hits him. The system can steal not just innate abilities, but also a lifetime of learned skills. A cold, calculating look crosses his face as he contemplates the limitless potential of his absorption power. He instantly understands the 3 stages of the new technique, from a simple aura to a devastating blade of pure energy. With a confident smirk, he notes that if Zhou was formidable with just the first level, he'll be unstoppable once he masters all 3. Just as he's processing his new power, another system prompt materializes, catching him off guard. The interface reveals it has detected special items from his defeated rival, offering him the chance to collect them. Intrigued by the unexpected bonus, he decides to see what other spoils his victory has earned him. The system confirms a successful collect power, and he resolves to claim it. But first, he recalls the danger of Zhou's powerful family and decides it's time to vanish from the scene. He smirks, deciding to loot his rival's body before moving on to his next objective. Under the cover of night, he locates the massive spirit bee hive high in the trees. He finds the source of the rampaging bear's power, a hollow filled with precious elemental spirit bee nectar. He carefully collects every last drop of the potent golden liquid. He assesses his haul, realizing even this much nectar will only fuel his training for a short time. Taking inventory of his day's work, he lays out the beast blood and other spoils, puzzled by how little his rival carried. His attention is drawn to a strange pouch made from beast hide, the only other item of interest. He recalls Zhou seemingly pulling his blade from thin air, suspecting the pouch is more than it seems. Deciding to test his theory, he channels his own energy into the mysterious item. The pouch reacts instantly, erupting in a brilliant flash of blue light as its true nature is revealed. A massive holographic cube appears, revealing a treasure trove of supplies from within the pouch. He realizes it's a priceless storage bag, confirming the immense wealth of Zhou's family. He's ecstatic to find hundreds of elemental stones and high-level beast blood, a fortune he desperately needed. Without a second thought, he claims every last bit of his rival's wealth for himself. The magical pouch seals itself, now under his complete control. He clutches his new prize, knowing he must keep this rare treasure hidden from prying eyes. With his new wealth secured, he turns his attention to the elemental spirit bee nectar he gathered. He drinks the potent liquid, and a warm, golden energy immediately begins to radiate from his chest. He's relieved to find the nectar's effect is a soothing warmth, completely unlike the agony of beast blood. The golden essence flows through him, mending his bones and healing every lingering injury from his recent battles. He meditates, completely enveloped in a golden aura as the nectar's power surges through him. He draws in the last of the potent energy, finalizing the absorption process. The nectar's essence ripples through his system, creating a profound sense of calm and power. His eyes snap open, glowing with a newfound brilliant blue light. A sharp glint flashes across his eyes as he feels the complete integration of his new strength. He realizes the nectar is a game changer, allowing him to absorb beast blood in hours instead of days. With a determined grin, he decides to power level through the night before tackling the Earth Dragon's lair. Guided by the map, he soars through the forest, his wind attribute turning him into a streak of green light. System can bypass it. He pushes through the illusion, the barrier dissolving around him as he enters the secret chamber. On the other side, he discovers the true prize, a hidden grotto containing a pool of glowing energy. The pool is the source of the legendary 10,000-year essence, a treasure of immense power. A glowing orb drifts down into his hand, which he correctly assumes is a spirit guarding the treasure. He decides to secure the mysterious spirit orb first, planning to study it later. Recalling the instructions from the map, he prepares to immerse himself directly in the potent liquid. A greedy smirk spreads across his face, ready to claim his prize. Wasting no time, he dives headfirst into the legendary pool of power. But instead of strength, he's hit with a wave of profound sadness from ancient spirits. The essence is filled with the life and death struggles of countless primeval beasts. Their collective fighting spirit, honed over millennia, begins to pour directly into him. He meditates, absorbing the endless and heavy energy that now surrounds him. His eyes snap open, glowing with a brilliant blue light as the power settles within him. He slams his hand down, attempting to command the immense energy he's just absorbed. But the pool reacts unexpectedly, launching him into the air on a geyser of power. He looks down in shock as a strange green energy envelops his body, completely out of his control. He feels the wind attribute has perfectly integrated with his body, making him feel impossibly light. He summons the system, which confirms his physique and both his talents have been upgraded to superior levels. He realizes the 10,000-year essence provided a far greater leap in fundamental power than the beast blood ever could. Knowing the essence is most potent on the first use, he wisely decides to collect a sample for the future. With 3 days left in the trial, he grins, planning to use the remaining time to push his power even further. 3 days later, the trial concludes, and an instructor calls for the students to emerge and rip their students who thought he was a goner. His cold, determined gaze shows he's no longer the weakling they all remember. He calmly approaches the instructor to register his score, ready to shatter their expectations. He unloads a massive pile of beast parts, leaving the instructors momentarily speechless. The lead instructor stares in disbelief, his eyes wide with shock at the sheer volume of spoils. The tally reveals an impossible score of 103 points, sparking outrage and disbelief among the crowd. With time officially up, evacuation, using Zhou's death as a reason to leave the dangerous area. Just as he boards the transport, the instructor pulls him aside for a private word. He warns him that the Zhou family will never believe his innocence and advises him to lay low for his own safety. The scene shifts to the imposing Zhou family mansion, casting a dark shadow over the Luoyang base. Inside, the family patriarch calmly processes the news of his son's demise, his cold demeanor hinting at a storm to come. A subordinate reports the official story, but adds a crucial detail. The trial's winner was a known rival of his son. The Zhou family patriarch seethes with rage, unable to accept that a supposed weakling won the trial. His fury erupts in a destructive outburst, the sheer force of his anger shaking the room. A subordinate pleads with him to regain his composure amidst the aftermath of his rage. He concludes that foul play is involved, believing the protagonist now possesses the secret treasure he sent his son to find. The scene transitions to a quiet apartment building under the peaceful night sky. Xiwei returns home after a long day, announcing her arrival to an empty room. She looks around, surprised to find the protagonist is nowhere to be seen. Noticing a prepared meal, she reflects on his recent and uncharacteristically kind behavior. She resolves to train before eating, her mind set on an upcoming competition and a legendary beast prize, Ghost Steps technique he won. He begins his practice, concentrating a swirling blue energy around his feet. He bursts into motion, creating multiple afterimages as he tests the new skill, but his control falters, causing him to misstep and crack the pavement beneath him. The sudden loss of balance sends him stumbling awkwardly across the ground. He quickly realizes the technique requires total body control, far beyond what a normal martial artist could manage. But he realizes his lightning attribute is the perfect complement to the technique, giving him a unique advantage. He executes the move again, this time with flawless control, leaving a perfect circle of energy on the pavement. Now fully in sync with the skill, he leaps between buildings, impressed by the power of the bronze-level technique. He understands that combining these steps with his speed will make him a terrifying force in close combat. Determined to master it, he pushes himself through the night, turning the abandoned district into his personal playground. Finally exhausted, he catches his breath and decides it's time to head home for the day. His eyes suddenly narrow as his senses scream, alerting him to an approaching presence. A figure appears in a blur of motion, landing heavily before him and demanding his full attention. The stern-faced man introduces himself as Nian, sent by his master to invite him to a banquet. He immediately dismisses the invitation, stating he has no interest and intends to go home. Nian tries to intimidate him, boasting about his master's immense power and influence in the Luoyang base. The name clicks. He realizes the man's master is Zhou Qi's father, confirming the Zhou family is hunting him. He coolly dismisses the subordinate, stating he'll only show respect to the master himself, not his lackey. Enraged by the disrespect, Nian lunges forward, determined to capture him by force. He effortlessly phases through the attack, using his newly mastered ghost steps to leave his opponent grasping at air. Nian looks on in disbelief, stunned that this supposed weakling can execute such a high-level technique. The protagonist then summons a familiar blade, which Nian instantly recognizes as Zhou Qi's sword. Seeing the sword confirms his suspicions, and he furiously accuses the protagonist of being responsible for his young master's fate. Instead of answering, he unleashes a flurry of wind blades, putting the shocked subordinate on the defensive. He then uses his wind attribute to leap onto a high structure, leaving Nian staring up in utter disbelief at his speed. Nian recoils in shock, recognizing the signature breaking blade technique. With a predatory grin, he confirms he's using the first level of his rival's own martial art. Nian dismisses the display as a cheap trick and unleashes a powerful vortex of fire. Enraged, he channels his fire attribute into a furious claw attack, demanding answers about his young master. The protagonist counters with an even larger wave of wind blades, coldly suggesting Nian can ask his master in person. The subordinate is stunned, unable to comprehend how his attack is stronger than Zhou Qi's original. The two powerful techniques collide, filling the abandoned district with a storm of fire and wind. He calmly assesses his opponent, confident that his own superior talent and physique make this an easy fight. Nian is overwhelmed by the relentless assault, his fiery defense beginning to crumble. Despite being outmatched, the subordinate spots a supposed flaw and prepares to shatter the wave of blades. Nian lunges forward with a fiery claw, determined to end the fight with a single decisive blow. But the protagonist just grins, revealing the wind blades were a feint as purple lightning erupts from his body. The subordinate's face twists in horror as he's caught in the lightning, realizing he's walked right into a trap. He unleashes a devastating storm of electricity, completely overwhelming his opponent. The massive lightning strike illuminates the entire abandoned district, a testament to his raw power. In the aftermath, Kanian lies defeated in a crater, while the protagonist stands over him, victorious. He reflects on his current strength, knowing that while he's still an early-stage artist, his combat power is far greater. His thoughts turn to the true threat, Zhou Qi's father, a late-stage master he knows he can't yet defeat. Staring at the night sky, he resolves to break through his current limits and reach the next level of power. He decides his only path forward is to return to the wilderness and force a breakthrough through life-or-death combat. He heads to the martial arts supply hall, the central hub for every warrior preparing for a hunt. Inside the bustling building, he knows he'll need to stock up on pills, weapons, and survival gear. To be efficient, he decides to find a single, well-stocked store for all his needs. He spots the perfect place, the prestigious Jade House, run by a famous business alliance. A shopkeeper greets him, and he explains he's heading into the wilderness and needs essential supplies. She proudly showcases their popular survival kits, which contain everything a martial artist could need. He asks for the price of a luxury set, impressing the shopkeeper with his apparent wealth. Just then, a commotion erupts as a young girl desperately begs a warrior to accept a dangerous quest. The crowd whispers about her tragic situation, revealing she needs a python's heart to save her sick mother. He realizes the python's habitat is his destination, and feeling a pang of sympathy, he resolves to help the girl if he can. He approaches the desperate girl, inquiring if her dangerous quest is still open. Her eyes widen with hope as she confirms it is, cautiously asking if he's really going to accept. With a reassuring smile, he accepts the task and tells her to wait for his return. The onlookers outside gossip, some calling him brave while others cynically dismiss his actions. An attendant asks the Jade House's owner if she should intervene, but the owner decides to let events unfold. The attendant remarks on his rare kindness, noting the task's reward doesn't match the risk. The owner agrees with an intrigued smile, clearly impressed by his selfless act. The scene shifts, jumping forward 2 days to the wild expanse of Dashu Mountain. The vast snow-capped peaks of the mountain range are revealed, a known training ground for the base's apprentices. He leaps through the dense forest, now deep in the true wilderness 100 miles from the base. He faces off against a swarm of level 2 iron mantises, using them to hone his skills. He moves like a blur, his wind and lightning talents making his attacks devastatingly effective. He feels his control over the breaking blade and ghost steps solidifying, pushing him to the brink of a breakthrough. Using his new footwork, he phases through a mantis's attack, leaving only an afterimage behind. He counters with a powerful lightning-infused strike, ending the beast in a flash of purple energy. With his goal set, he decides to hunt the two-headed python only after he achieves his next power-up. The scene shifts back to Luoyang First Academy, where students gather for a major announcement about the trials. A group of unfamiliar, powerful-looking warriors arrives, drawing the curious stares of the local students. The academy's dean, a grand master named Shen, steps forward to address the assembly. He announces this year's trial will be a massive joint competition with the rival Changfeng base. The students react in shock, realizing the joint trial means higher stakes and greater danger. The dean confirms the trial will be on the perilous Dashu Mountain, but allows students to form teams or withdraw. An instructor unveils a holographic display of incredible rewards for the top 10, including rare items and techniques. The Academy's elite students eye the prizes, acknowledging the challenge of facing high-level beasts. Xiwei worries about the protagonist's absence, resolving to win the trial and get a python's heart to help him. Her thoughts are interrupted by a commotion, predatory look, promising a rematch on the trial grounds. 3 days later, a deep rumbling echoes across the moonlit peaks of Dashu Mountain. The protagonist stands exhausted amidst a pile of fallen beasts, his attention caught by the strange sound. He clutches a vial, realizing the rumbling isn't from the mountain, but from within his own body. A powerful golden energy surges through him, signaling he's on the verge of a major breakthrough. He realizes his breakthrough is imminent, and the surrounding beasts see it as a moment of weakness. Overflowing with untamed energy, he decides the monsters are the perfect way to vent his new power. He eagerly challenges the pack, lunging forward to test the full extent of his evolution. A storm of purple lightning erupts from his body, instantly overwhelming the attacking creatures. The massive electrical discharge illuminates the entire mountain, showcasing his incredible new level of power. He stands calmly amidst the fallen beasts, the one-sided battle already over. He notices his body has undergone a complete marrow cleansing, expelling all its impurities. His system confirms the massive leap in strength, his battle value now reaching an astonishing new peak. Now a true martial artist, he knows his combined talents make him a match for even mid-stage opponents. He concludes that he's finally strong enough to face Zhou Qi's father and can prepare to return. He remembers he has one final promise to keep before he leaves the mountain. He recalls his original goal was the two-headed python, but it seems the beast found him first. He deduces the commotion from his breakthrough must have drawn the creature to his location. The monstrous two-headed python reveals itself, its red eyes glowing with predatory intent. He assesses its powerful aura, realizing it's an advanced level 2 beast, as strong as a late-stage martial artist. One of the heads unleashes a torrent of purple poison, which he narrowly evades. The second head lunges from his blind spot, catching him completely off guard. Using his enhanced agility, he leaps away just in time to avoid the snapping jaws. He lands with a grim expression, recognizing the familiar threat of poisonous gas. The beast looms over him, its maw glowing as he realizes the poison is a paralytic agent. He activates his wind attribute, using ghost steps to create afterimages and evade the coordinated attacks. The beast's head lunges with blinding speed, tearing his clothes as he barely dodges the strike. The python's relentless assault forces him into a desperate dance of evasion across the rocky terrain. Realizing he's losing stamina, he decides to stop running and channel all his power into a single decisive counter. He launches himself forward like a bolt of blue energy, aiming directly for the monster's open maw. His powerful kick connects with the beast's head, sending a shockwave that shatters the ground. The disoriented python thrashes about, searching for the opponent who has suddenly vanished. A disembodied voice taunts the creature, asking what it's looking for. He reappears behind the beast, blade glowing as he coolly announces his presence. The python's head snaps around, hissing in fury as its glowing red eye locks onto its target. The python unleashes a spray of venom, but he's already anticipating the attack. He reveals he used the battle to master the second level of ghost steps, doubling his speed. With a confident smirk, he realizes he's now too fast for the beast to even see, let alone hit. He prepares to counterattack, his blade gleaming as he faces down the monstrous creature. In a flash of movement, he delivers a swift and decisive blow to the beast. He stands victorious over the massive fallen body of the two-headed python. He breathes a sigh of relief, acknowledging his mid-battle power-up was the key to his victory. He calmly begins to harvest the valuable parts of the beast, planning to keep his promise and upgrade his gear. A triumphant grin spreads across his face as he holds the python's heart, satisfied with his high-value prize. Just as he plans his return, a sudden desperate cry for help echoes through the forest. The desperate plea for help echoes again, this time much closer. He spots a terrified student fleeing from a pair of vicious, red-eyed beasts. In a blur of motion, he appears between the girl and the monsters, his blade ready. The student stares in wide-eyed shock, her fear momentarily replaced by disbelief. She watches as her mysterious savior calmly faces down the entire monstrous pack. The girl recognizes him, asking if he's the infamous fiancé of Chen Xiwei. He confirms her identity as an elite student, wondering what she's doing so deep in the wilderness. A sudden, horrifying memory flashes through her mind, sparking a new wave of panic. She grabs him, frantically explaining that Chen Xiwei is in mortal danger and needs his help immediately. He firmly takes hold of her arm, his expression hardening as he processes the dire news. His calm demeanor shatters as he demands to know what happened to Chen Xiwei. The girl is stunned, struggling to reconcile the weakling from the rumors with the powerful warrior before her. He realizes his intensity has frightened her and quickly tries to compose himself. Softening his tone, he asks again about Chen Xiwei's fate, trying to reassure the terrified student. She explains they were ambushed by wolves, only to be cornered by a rival student named Xu Guang. The name Xu Guang clearly registers with him, his expression hardening with cold recognition. She recounts how Chen Xiwei held off the rivals, already wounded, to give her a chance to escape. With tears in her eyes, she begs him to save Chen Xiwei, pointing him in the right direction. He tosses her a healing potion, telling her to find the others while he handles the rescue. Wasting no time, he rockets off into the forest, a blur of blue energy on a mission. The rescued student clutches the potion, her fear replaced by a newfound hope that he can save Chen Xiwei. Meanwhile, Chen Xiwei stands alone against Xu Guang, surrounded by her fallen comrades. Despite her injuries and exhaustion, her defiant gaze shows she's not ready to surrender. Xu Guang mocks her base, but offers her a place with him, impressed by her fighting spirit. She furiously calls him a coward for using Beast to launch a sneak attack on her team. He erupts in laughter, shamelessly admitting to his underhanded tactics. Fed up with his taunts, she charges forward, her gauntlet crackling with purple energy. His smirk vanishes, replaced by a cold glare as he prepares to end her defiance. He counters her punch with a powerful slash, their opposing energies clashing violently. He channels his full power, intent on demonstrating the massive gap between their strengths. She pushes back with a final desperate surge of power, refusing to be broken. But his overwhelming strength shatters her defense in a massive explosion of energy. The force of the blow sends her flying backward, completely overpowered by the attack. She crashes to the ground, battered and bruised, struggling to even lift her head. He looms over her, mocking her weakness and offering one last chance to submit to him. Despite her injuries, she glares back with pure, unbroken defiance. His patience runs out, and he declares that if she won't join him, he'll simply end her. His menacing reflection appears in her eye as she realizes she's out of options. She closes her eyes, accepting her fate as her strength finally gives out. With a cruel grin, he raises his blade, preparing to deliver the final decisive strike. Just in the nick of time, he appears in a flash of purple lightning, blocking the fatal blow. His electrified blade effortlessly repels the massive sword, the sheer force of the impact sending shockwaves through the clearing. Zhou is thrown backward, his boots skidding across the ground as he struggles to absorb the unexpected power. He desperately slams his sword into the earth, using it as an anchor to halt his forced retreat. His hands tremble from the impact, his mind reeling from the incredible speed and strength of his new opponent. Enraged, Zhou can't comprehend how he, a mid-level artist, is being so easily overpowered by an unknown warrior. The protagonist stands unfazed, a colossal dragon of pure lightning materializing behind him as he dismisses his rival's rant. Lying on the ground, Xiwei recognizes the familiar voice, her expression a mix of confusion and dawning hope. He stands protectively before her, his tattered shirt revealing the physique of a seasoned fighter, not the weakling she knew. Refusing to accept defeat, Zhou channels a new icy power and lunges forward, determined to destroy his mysterious foe. He calmly analyzes his opponent's dual talents, preparing to counter with his ghost steps technique. But with Xiwei behind him, he knows he can't dodge and must defend her directly. He meets the icy assault with a powerful slash of his own, infused with the swirling energy of his wind attribute. The two elemental forces collide, shattering the clearing in a storm of wind and ice. In the chaos, a stray shard of ice strikes Xiwei, causing her to cry out in pain. Seeing her get hurt sends a jolt of fury through him, his protective instincts taking over. Zhou seizes the momentary distraction, pressing his advantage with a vicious, energized strike. But the protagonist's rage fuels a new surge of power, his lightning-infused blade shattering the attack with ease. Zhou is blown away, struggling to comprehend how he's being so utterly suppressed by an artist of a similar level. The reflection of crackling purple energy in his eye reveals his dawning terror. He declares that with his system adding to his strength, nothing is impossible for him. The battle concludes under the quiet, moonlit mountain sky. He stands victorious over his fallen opponent, catching his breath with a confident smirk. He quickly loots the body, discovering his rival also carried a valuable storage bag. He's stunned by the immense wealth inside, a treasure trove of stones and rare materials. He decides to give the spoils to Xiwei, but knows he must first secure her safety and absorb his new prize. With a predatory look, he begins the process of absorbing his rival's talents. The system confirms a successful absorption, granting him an advanced saber talent. While carrying Xiwei to safety, he immediately begins practicing with his new blade. He marvels at his instant mastery, feeling an innate connection to the blade as if it were alive. He spends the next few days in the wilderness, relentlessly honing his newly acquired powers. He leaps through the trees, testing his rival's ice-based techniques on the local wildlife. Standing over a defeated beast, he realizes the ice power wasn't a talent, but part of a martial art he absorbed. The system reveals he didn't just get a saber talent, but also two powerful silver-level techniques. He smirks, confident that with his system's help, he can master these skills far beyond their original owner. A quick status check confirms his battle power has quadrupled, reaching an incredible new level. His new stat sheet shows a deadly combination of advanced talents and high-level martial arts. With his training complete and his sword now broken, he decides it's finally time to return to the base. He remembers the young girl he made a promise to, realizing a month has passed and she's likely waiting for him. His first stop is the martial arts supply hall, ready to re-equip and fulfill his quest. In the resting area, the young girl waits, her hope dwindling with each passing day. A sudden sound makes her look up, a spark of anticipation lighting up her worried expression. The Jade House owner and her attendant peek out, certain the warrior they're expecting isn't the one who just arrived. A nearby martial artist tries to crush her spirits, insisting the protagonist either died or lied about the quest. Doubt creeps in, but she desks questioning as he waits for her to speak. She nervously explains the egg hasn't hatched in over a decade, wondering why he'd risk his life for a seemingly worthless reward. He offers a faint, knowing smile, his true motivations remaining a mystery. With a casual wave, he explains he simply wanted to help before turning to leave. The crowd buzzes with admiration, now convinced he's a late-stage master and a valuable potential ally. The girl is hit with a traumatic memory, a stark reminder that trust is a luxury in their harsh world. Her flashback reveals a cynical man mocking the very idea of selfless kindness. Tears fill her eyes as she grapples with his simple act of decency, a true rarity in her life. His mind already on his next goal, he plans to sell his beast parts for a new sword and a better technique. He sets his sights on the prestigious Jade House, the largest and most powerful shop in the supply hall. An attendant immediately recognizes his new strength, greeting him as a master and offering her assistance. His gaze suddenly sharpens, his attention caught by an unexpected sight within the shop. He realizes the seemingly ordinary clerk is a powerful martial artist who instantly recognized his new strength. He explains his plan to sell beast parts and buy new gear, and she leads him deeper into the shop. She introduces him to the store's elderly appraiser, who will assess the quality of his haul. He unloads a massive pile of beast materials onto the table for the expert's inspection. The appraiser is stunned by the sheer volume and quality of the parts, impressed by the young warrior's skill. After a quick evaluation, the appraiser offers him a hefty sum of 156,000 Wayne stones for the lot. Satisfied with the fair price, he asks for recommendations on a new sword and other cultivation supplies. The appraiser hands him a sales list, boasting that their inventory is the best in the entire base. But his confidence wavers as he sees the staggering prices. Realizing his new fortune won't go as far as he'd hoped. Forced to be selective, he decides to purchase only the most critical items for his immediate needs. The appraiser calculates his total, revealing he's still short by 16,000 Wen stones. Just as he's about to pay, the attendant interrupts the transaction to speak with the appraiser. She whispers a secret message to the old man, whose expression immediately changes. The appraiser then extends a formal invitation for him to meet the store's director upstairs. Though suspicious of the sudden request, his curiosity wins out and he agrees to the meeting. The attendant leads him to an ornate door, announcing her. He explains his preference for freedom, stating he has no intention of being tied down by any alliance. Unfazed by his rejection, she pivots, suggesting a less restrictive form of cooperation instead. She proposes a consultant role with a salary, discounts, and only one mandatory task per year. With a confident smile, she waits for his response to her incredibly tempting new offer. He analyzes her strategy, realizing it's a clever way to recruit talent while admitting the perks are very appealing. To seal the deal, she makes his current purchase free and gifts him the powerful sword as a sign of goodwill. He accepts the blade with a sly grin, questioning if she's not worried he'll take her gifts and run. She dismisses the cost as trivial, confident that a man of his caliber will ultimately make the right decision. He formally accepts the consultant position, declaring he won't disappoint the generous director. As he departs with his new gear, the director and her attendant watch him go, their deal now sealed. The attendant questions her mistress's motives, wondering why she'd invest so much in a warrior from a small base. A sudden realization dawns on the elderly woman as she begins to connect the dots. The director reveals her true reason, explaining her special auxiliary talent sensed something unique about him. She felt a familiar aura from him, realizing he is the same kind of person as her. The scene shifts to the Luoyang base's College Square, where the results of the two-city trial are being announced. The crowd is stunned to see Chen Xiwei at the top of the leaderboard, while also noting the mysterious disappearance of Xu Guang. An official announcement calls for the first-place winner to step forward and claim her prize. Chen Xiwei admits her victory was only possible thanks to the storage bag her mysterious savior left behind. A friend nudges a stunned Chen Xiwei, urging her to go on stage to claim her victory. The Academy's dean formally calls for the first-place winner to come forward and accept her prize. She walks toward the stage, her name glowing at the top of the holographic leaderboard. The dean presents her with a massive reward, including beast blood, yuan stones, and the promise of personal tutelage. The other students murmur in awe, realizing that being trained by the dean is the most valuable prize of all. But Xiwei looks disappointed, realizing the protagonist never showed up and questioning her own assumptions. Meanwhile, in an abandoned district, the protagonist unleashes a powerful new ice and thunder technique. His attack instantly freezes a swarm of insectoid beasts in a field of jagged ice crystals. He stands amidst the frozen chaos, his new sword glowing as he channels his combined elemental powers. His eyes widen in surprise as he looks down, sensing an unexpected change within himself. He uses his advanced ghost steps to leap over a massive worm's gaping maw. He prepares to unleash a new technique, combining his ice and thunder powers into his blade. From above, he launches a devastating barrage of icy energy down at the monstrous creature. The beast is suddenly impaled from below by massive ice crystals erupting from the ground. With a look of intense focus, he realizes he's finally perfected his ultimate sword technique. He unleashes a massive arc of cyan energy, the sky-splitting blade which carves through the battlefield. The powerful energy wave tears through the abandoned district. The scene shifts to the imposing Zhou family villa, where his enemies are plotting. A messenger bird arrives, carrying urgent news for the family patriarch. A subordinate reports they've finally located the protagonist, and the patriarch demands to know where. The subordinate reveals he's been hiding in plain sight, training in the abandoned district for weeks. The patriarch correctly assumes he's been trying to master the treasure he took from his son. In a flash of anger, he crushes the messenger bird, his patience completely gone. He orders his men to watch the protagonist, declaring he'll handle the next encounter personally. His face contorts with rage as he vows to end the one responsible for his son's fate. The scene shifts back to his apartment building, a brief stop before his next move. He recalls the Jade House director's offer of a private training facility, deciding it's the perfect place for intensive cultivation. Arriving home, he finds Xiwei already there, catching her by surprise as she emerges from her room. She notices he's packed and immediately questions if he's heading out again so soon after returning. He confirms he'll be gone for a few days, but reassures her he's staying within the city's safe zone. As he leaves, he casually congratulates her on winning the trial, showing he's aware of what happened in his absence. His calm demeanor leaves her confused, making her doubt her suspicion that he was her mysterious rescuer. He arrives at the exclusive martial arts building provided by the Jade House, ready to begin his next phase of training. Inside, he unleashes the full power of his new silver-level technique, the Wild Frost Tribulation Thunderblade. Despite mastering the frost element, he feels a disconnect, sensing the technique has a deeper potential he hasn't yet unlocked. He theorizes that he's not utilizing his Yuan power correctly to unlock the technique's full potential. He's racked with pain as he tries to force the technique, resulting in a chaotic and uncontrolled burst of ice. Frustrated, he analyzes the technique's name, realizing the frost is present but the thunder element is completely missing. A sudden epiphany strikes him as he understands wild isn't an element, but the core philosophy of the martial art itself. He grasps that a true swordsman must be relentless, cutting down all obstacles without hesitation. The technique's true purpose becomes clear, to fight with the ferocity of 1,000 blades in a single decisive strike. With newfound clarity, he embraces her words, wondering if another trip to the wilderness is in order. His senses suddenly flare, his glowing eye catching a hidden presence in the alley ahead. He spots 2 men in suits lurking behind a dumpster, confirming he's being followed. Without a word, he unleashes a storm of purple lightning, instantly ambushing his would-be ambushers. One of the ambushers looks around frantically, confused by his target's sudden disappearance. He reappears behind them in a crackle of purple lightning, casually asking if they were looking for him. The subordinate's face contorts in terror as a lightning-infused blade descends upon him. His partner cries out, watching the swift and decisive takedown of his comrade. Before he can react, the protagonist moves in a blur, neutralizing the second man with a powerful kick. He lifts the remaining man by his collar, his glowing eyes demanding to know who sent them. The terrified subordinate stammers out the name Zhou Cheng, pleading for his life as electricity arcs around him. He realizes Zhou Cheng is a threat to both him and Xiwei, seeing this as the perfect chance to test his skills. The scene shifts to the imposing Zhou family villa, now under a dark and stormy sky. 2 subordinates walk through the grounds, discussing how the patriarch has grown colder since his son's demise. One guard notes the ominous weather as a shadowy figure emerges behind him. His partner, completely unaware, just hopes to get through his shift quickly. The second guard suddenly realizes his partner is gone as a lightning-wreathed silhouette prepares to strike. A massive bolt of purple lightning illuminates the garden, signaling a swift and silent takedown. Further up, another guard on the villa steps wonders if his men are slacking off. He calls out to announce the shift change, growing impatient with the silence. His question is answered as the defeated bodies of his comrades are suddenly tossed onto the patio. He stares in disbelief at the fallen guards, struggling to process the impossible scene. A blade suddenly appears at his throat, and he spins around in alarm. His eyes widen in terror as he demands to know the identity of his mysterious attacker. Inside the opulent villa, the Patriarch Zhou sits alone, waiting impatiently. He grows increasingly annoyed, wondering why the men he sent after the protagonist haven't reported back. A faint noise from the hallway finally breaks the silence, and he angrily demands to know what's happening. Frustrated by the lack of response, he storms toward the door, ready to discipline his guards. He throws the door open with a roar, demanding an explanation for the disturbance. The sight that greets him is a hallway filled with his defeated men, with a lone figure standing at the end. He's shocked that such a massacre could happen so quietly, wondering when Luoyang Base produced such a powerful warrior. The protagonist stands calmly in the hallway, his cold gaze fixed on his target. Zhou clenches his fist in fury, demanding the identity of the intruder who dared to attack his family. Surrounded by a swirling blue aura, the protagonist coolly identifies his enemy and mocks him for not recognizing his own target. The Patriarch's eyes widen in furious recognition as he finally puts a name to his son's killer. He dismisses the idea, unable to believe a mere novice could gain so much power in just 1 month. His mind flashes back, convinced the protagonist stole a legendary treasure from his son's discovery. He glares at the protagonist, accusing him of stealing the opportunity that should have belonged to the Zhou family. Fueled by greed and rage, Zhou unleashes a powerful wave of projected energy blades. He vows to reclaim his stolen destiny by ending the young warrior's life right here and now. The protagonist pressure. Gritting his teeth, he struggles against the overwhelming force, the stray egg still stubbornly unhatched. Now rivals that of a peak martial arts master. Landing gracefully on a rooftop, he dispatches the bird with a casual flick, his training session now complete. He decides to ride the wave of his breakthrough, immediately shifting focus to his body-forging technique. Channeling a powerful golden energy, he feels his blood and chi surge as he prepares to push his body to its absolute limit. His eyes narrow with intense focus, recognizing this is the perfect moment to achieve his next evolution. He unleashes a final, desperate roar, channeling all his energy into a single explosive burst. A colossal pillar of golden light erupts from his body, tearing through the night sky. Standing in the crater of his own making, he assesses his new strength, realizing he's reached the level of a mid-stage martial artist. He knows the next stage, blood refining, is a long and arduous process, so he decides to seek a shortcut. Arriving at the Jade House, he's immediately met by a stunned director Mo, who can't believe his rapid progress. She admits that even among the geniuses she's met, his growth rate is almost unheard of. He calmly explains his visit, seeking a rare elixir to accelerate his next stage of cultivation. With a knowing smile, she reveals she has just what he needs, but it comes with a price. A favor. He correctly deduces this is the annual task he owes her as the Jade House's consultant. She explains the mission: escort a valuable treasure from a distant base that has lost too many warriors to transport it safely. He points out the thousands of miles of beast-infested territory, correctly guessing he won't be going alone. She confirms a team of martial arts masters will lead the escort, offering a tempting reward of rare jade liquid upon completion. He learns the liquid can boost his cultivation speed by 10 times, making it the perfect shortcut for his blood refining. He accepts the mission, knowing that such a valuable reward means the task will be anything but simple. His resolve hardens, determined to obtain the one-horned jade liquid no matter the risk. 5 days later, he arrives at the rendezvous point outside the city's west gate. He sizes up his new teammates, a formidable group of late-stage and peak martial arts masters. Director Mo spots him from across the clearing, a welcoming look on her face. She waves him over, introducing him to the other members of the escort team. He greets her politely, and she assures him he's arrived right on time for the mission to begin. A new face appears, a man named Zhang Xuan, who immediately catches the protagonist's attention. This man is introduced as a manager from the Luoyang Base Jade House, greeting Director Mo with a confident air. Director Mo introduces the protagonist, deliberately downplaying his abilities as a dual attribute artist with average talent. The manager, Zhang Xuan, gets overly familiar with the director while she introduces the protagonist as the new consultant. Zhang Xuan's gaze hardens as he warns the director not to be fooled, clearly doubting the protagonist's qualifications. The protagonist immediately senses the man's hostility, recognizing a new rival in the group. Before the tension can escalate, a sharp clap cuts through the air, demanding everyone's attention. An older warrior steps forward, introducing himself as Chen Yuan, a late-stage master and the leader of this escort mission. He lays down the strict rules for the 10,000-mile journey, warning that any deviation will be met with severe consequences. The protagonist listens intently, recognizing the leader's experience and the necessity of strict discipline in the wild. The team leader suggests they all introduce their strengths to build familiarity before the long journey. The other members reveal their skills, ranging from an early-stage master to peak artists specializing in swords and reconnaissance. Zhang Xuan proudly announces his status as a peak artist with a rare dual-attribute talent, earning praise from his peers. He then turns to the protagonist with a smug look, demanding to know his qualifications for being a consultant. The protagonist calmly states he's a mid-stage martial artist who specializes in swords, revealing his lower rank. The other team members immediately start whispering, worried that a mid-stage artist will be a liability on the mission. Zhang Xuan confronts him directly. Team leader can only stare in shock, unable to comprehend how a mid-stage artist just broke a peak artist's sword. Disarmed and humiliated, Zhang Xuan glares up from the ground, clutching the useless hilt of his weapon. In a flash, the protagonist is behind him with a blade to his throat, calmly reminding him of his earlier taunts. Zhang Xuan's face twists in a grimace of pure shock and defeat. The protagonist explains his confidence comes from his own power before tossing his rival into the air for a final strike. He delivers a decisive, non-lethal blow, sending the peak artist flying with a surge of controlled energy. Zhang Xuan crashes to the ground, completely defeated and out of the fight. The protagonist stands victorious in the clearing, his defeated rival lying motionless on the ground. The team leader inspects the fallen warrior, confirming he's alive, but his fighting career is permanently over. The other masters are stunned, finally understanding why a mid-stage artist holds the title of consultant. Director Mo smiles, declaring, the team scatters in panic as they realize their companion was instantly eliminated by an unseen force. The survivors are left reeling, unable to comprehend how a fellow master could be taken out so quickly. The protagonist draws his blade, immediately shifting into combat mode and warning the others of the hidden threat. His senses tell him nothing, leaving him to wonder what kind of invisible attack could be so perfectly concealed. The veteran leader takes command, ordering his rattled team to stand their ground and not panic. They quickly form a defensive circle, bracing for whatever is lurking in the shadows. In the chaos, one of the warriors suddenly turns on his teammate, launching a surprise attack. But before his betrayal can land, the invisible enemy strikes again, taking out the traitor in a brilliant flash. The eye-patch-wearing warrior shouts a warning, having glimpsed a fleeting white shadow near the fallen man. The protagonist leader's face is grim, his experience telling him this is a fight for their lives. The protagonist respects the strategy, but invisible beast's energy attack. The battlefield erupts into chaos as more masters are effortlessly eliminated by the relentless purple energy blasts. The veteran leader desperately tries to restore order, urging his terrified team to stay calm and fight back. Looking down at the carnage, it's clear the team's formation has been completely broken, with casualties mounting rapidly. The eye-patch warrior grits her teeth in frustration, admitting she caught a glimpse of the creature, but it was impossibly fast. The psychological pressure becomes too much for one of the remaining warriors, his face a mask of pure terror. He finally breaks, swinging his blade wildly into the empty air, while his teammate tries to stop his panicked rampage. Refusing to be a pawn in the beast's game, he vows to take it down, even if it means fighting blindly. His defiance is met with a deadly purple energy blast that materializes directly in his path. The beast answers his challenge with a decisive strike, ending his frantic outburst permanently. Amidst the chaos, the protagonist's eyes narrow, seeing the perfect moment to strike. He activates his ghost steps, becoming a blur of cyan energy as he moves to intercept the unseen foe. Unleashing his sky-splitting blade, he sends a massive arc of power that finally connects with the invisible beast. The surviving team members stare in disbelief, stunned that he actually managed to land a hit on the creature. He correctly predicts the injured beast will target him, seeing this as the perfect opening for a final blow. The eye-patch warrior screams a desperate warning, spotting the creature descending from above. The massive weasel materializes in a flash of purple energy, lunging down for the kill. It roars in fury, its fangs bared as it closes in for its final desperate attack. Unfazed, the protagonist plants his foot, his eyes locked on the incoming threat. He leaps into the air from his body as the process begins. His eyes glow as a new notification confirms the activation of his space perception talent. The world transforms into a purple grid, allowing him to perceive the ghostly outlines of everyone in the hotel. He tests his new vision, focusing on a tiny bird outside, seeing its every detail through the spatial grid. He realizes he can sense everything within a 50-meter radius, and now wonders if he also gained the weasel's teleportation. Deciding there's only one way to find out, he targets the unsuspecting bird for a little experiment. A system prompt announces his space transfer as he warps through a swirling purple vortex. He instantly materializes outside, his hand reaching out to snatch the bird mid-air as the portal closes behind him. Holding the startled creature, he grins, realizing this new power is the ultimate tool for both offense and defense. His experiment is cut short as the team leader and their local contact spot him perched in a tree. He leaps down with practice that the entire base's defense system must be compromised. The massive thornback dragon unleashes a deafening roar, its glowing eyes scanning the ruined street. A terrified little girl cries for her mother, trapped in the rubble as the beast's shadow falls over her. Seeing the imminent danger, the protagonist leaps into the fray with a look of fierce determination. He intercepts the monster with a powerful kick, stopping its advance just inches from the child. The colossal beast staggers backward, stunned by the unexpected force of the blow. He entrusts the girl to the veteran leader, who assures him she'll be safe in his care. With the civilian secured, he turns his full attention to the beast, ready to end the threat. The local contact worries aloud, questioning if a mid-level artist can handle such a powerful creature alone. The veteran leader confidently explains that the protagonist is far more than his rank suggests. Unimpressed, the thornback dragon swings its massive spiked tail, preparing to crush its challenger. He activates his ghost steps, effortlessly dodging the massive tail sweep with a focused glare. With a burst of speed, he leaps high over the beast's spiked back, leaving the attack to smash into empty ground. He lands on the dragon's spine, using its own body as a high-speed runway to its head. The enraged beast thrashes wildly, trying to shake the nimble warrior from its back. He maintains his balance with practiced ease, looking for the perfect moment to strike. His allies watch in horror, shouting a desperate warning as the situation escalates. He digs his fingers into the dragon's tough hide, bracing himself against the powerful bucking. In a display of incredible agility, he leaps between the shifting spikes on the creature's back. He vaults off the beast, landing with enough force to crack the pavement beneath him. The thornback dragon roars in fury, its glowing eyes locking onto the warrior who just humiliated it. The local contact shouts a desperate warning, his face a mask of pure terror. The enraged dragon roars back, its glowing eyes promising a brutal end to its challenger. He meets the roar with a lightning-infused leap, aiming his blade directly for the beast's gaping maw. With a powerful two-handed strike, he plunges his electrified sword deep into the dragon's skull. He follows through with a decisive slash, unleashing a torrent of purple energy. The lightning-charged attack tears through the beast, ending the fight in a single devastating combo. His allies can only stare in awe as he stands victorious over the fallen dragon. He cuts the celebration short, demanding an explanation for the massive security breach. The local contact finally cracks, revealing the base has been under siege and losing warriors for months. The situation is revealed to be even more dire, as 5 of the city's 6 grandmasters have already been dispatched and lost. The local contact reveals the city's forces have been cut in half, creating a critical shortage of warriors. The veteran leader offers his full support, promising to help them uncover the source of the crisis. The protagonist's suspicion deepens, questioning why the base would hold trials when their defenses were already stretched so thin. His sharp gaze reveals he's already connecting the dots, sensing a conspiracy is at play. Just then, a squad of local guards arrives, relieved to find the immediate threat has been neutralized. Their leader thanks the local contact, explaining they were delayed by another ferocious beast attack across the city. The man quickly corrects him, pointing to the protagonist as the true hero who single-handedly took down the dragon. The guard leader turns to the young consultant with a look of genuine gratitude and respect. His thanks are cut short by an urgent message coming through his headset, his expression turning serious. He relays a summons, inviting the protagonist and the veteran leaders to meet with the guard captain for an important discussion. They arrive at the imposing Changfeng Base Center for their meeting with the guard captain. A guard explains the captain is a grandmaster who can't leave her post, leading them through the building. Reaching a brightly lit doorway, the guard gestures for them to enter the captain's office. The protagonist takes a single step across the threshold, unknowingly triggering a hidden mechanism. His eyes widen in shock as the world around him instantly changes, catching him completely off guard. Plunged into a swirling darkness, he immediately suspects he's walked into a trap, replaced by a shadowy, calculating expression as she prepares to get serious. With a sharp smile, she shifts the conversation to business, clearly having a proposal in mind. Back at Luyangbaz, Director Mo greets the returning team, welcoming them after their long and arduous journey. The veteran leader formally hands over the precious cargo, completing their side of the mission. Director Mo clutches the box, a look of intense relief washing over her as she finally secures the treasure. She generously rewards the weary team, offering them healing elixirs and a well-deserved rest. Just as he's about to leave, she singles out the protagonist, asking him to stay for a private word. The scene shifts to a secluded car in the woods, setting the stage for their confidential discussion. Director Mo praises his performance on the mission, admitting his strength far exceeded her expectations. He coolly accepts the compliment, dismissing it as simple flattery. Getting down to business, she offers to Captain lays out her terms, offering a tax cut in exchange for access to the secret realm for 2 of her people. The local contact considers the seemingly small percentage, highlighting the high stakes of the negotiation. Elsewhere, 3 mysterious cloaked figures watch the entire exchange through a scrying mirror. These masked individuals identify the prize as the Manhwa secret realm, revealing their own interest in the treasure. A close-up reveals a glowing blue emblem on their robes, hinting at their shadowy organization. 10 days later, the protagonist stands in his home, a faint red aura surrounding him as he prepares to train. He carefully slices his own finger, beginning a blood-based cultivation technique. A single drop of blood forms on his fingertip, the key component for his next move. He channels his energy, causing the drop of blood to glow as a powerful red aura envelops him. With a swift motion, he unleashes a devastating arc of blood-red energy, testing his newly refined power. The crimson energy beam tears through his wall with destructive force. It punches clean through the entire building, a testament to his newfound control. He stands unfazed on the other side, peering through the hole he just created. With a simple gesture, he commands the blood-red energy to come back to him. The projectile obediently reverses course, streaking back towards his apartment. He reflects on his success, crediting Director Mo's elixir for his breakthrough in blood refining. The scene flashes back to Director Mo explaining the secret realm will open in 1 month. She formally invites him on the expedition, noting his unique power level makes him the perfect candidate. He considers her offer, realizing he'll have to survive long enough to claim the other treasures for himself. Glancing at the damage, he knows he must push his training even further to prepare for the dangers ahead. His destructive training session reveals a hidden box that crashes down from the floor above. Investigating the apartment below, he finds the mysterious box amidst the rubble he created. Opening it, he discovers a collection of old research materials, weapons, and a sealed letter. A strange blue orb atop the letter catches his eye, its surface covered in unfamiliar symbols. He realizes that despite having the original owner's memories, he has no idea where this box came from. Tucked inside is a thick diary promising answers to this new puzzle. The diary reveals the writings of a woman, a martial artist frustrated by her inability to advance. Her entries detail her struggles in a research lab, desperately seeking stronger beasts for her experiments. She expresses deep regret, blaming herself for her son's inability to cultivate due to his inherited weakness. The final entry reveals she ventured into a dangerous forest to hunt a legendary beast, all for the sake of her son's future. He connects the dots, realizing his mother died hunting a legendary beast to cure his weakness. He finds an unusually light and cold dagger in the box, deciding to have Director Mo appraise it later. 10 days later, the expedition team gathers on a remote cliff, ready to enter the secret realm. Director Mo waits impatiently, wondering where the key member of her team has gone. The 2 warriors from Changfeng Base gossip, curious to see what makes this mid-stage artist so special. A guard excitedly announces the consultant's arrival, breaking the tension. The protagonist strides into the clearing, his powerful new aura immediately catching Director Mo's attention. She stares intently, sensing a significant shift in his power since their last meeting. The skeptical warrior from Changfeng Base is forced to admit his presence is far too strong for his supposed rank. Director Mo greets him with a smile, correctly guessing he's had yet another breakthrough in his training. He casually asks Director Mo to appraise the daggers he found in his mother's belongings. She immediately recognizes the weapon is crafted from a level 4 beast, designed for silent, deadly strikes. The Changfeng warriors watch with suspicion, the woman eager to test the protagonist's true strength inside the realm. His sharp senses pick up a sudden energy fluctuation, alerting him that the entrance is opening. In the distance, a massive crystalline structure materializes, confirming the secret realm is now accessible. Director Mo rallies the team, warning them of random teleportation and giving instructions to regroup on her signal. She raises the Manhwa plate, which floats into the sky and begins to activate the portal. The artifact unleashes its power, tearing open a massive, swirling vortex that leads to the hidden world. Without hesitation, the entire team leaps into the swirling blue gateway, beginning their dangerous expedition. They find themselves in a strange new world, a hidden dimension filled with unknown dangers and treasures. The Wanhua Secret Realm is a legendary land of opportunity, overflowing with rare resources and powerful beasts. He's violently spat out of the portal, the chaotic energy of the teleportation nearly overwhelming him. Staggering to his feet, he quickly gets his bearings and decides to scout the area alone. He activates his space perception, instantly mapping out the surrounding terrain in a grid of purple light. His new vision immediately spots a treasure trove of rare spiritual herbs, confirming the realm's immense value. But he knows such a vibrant environment means the local beasts will be dangerously powerful. A sudden flare in the sky cuts through his thoughts, signaling the team's rendezvous point. Realizing the others have arrived safely, he immediately starts heading toward the signal. He arrives to find the rest of the team already in a fight for their lives, surrounded by a pack of vicious beasts. The alpha of the pack lets out a ferocious snarl, its eyes glowing with predatory hunger. The female warrior from Changfeng Base warns her comrades that despite their low level, the beasts are dangerously numerous. The entire team is locked in a desperate battle, completely surrounded by the relentless pack. One of the warriors is caught off guard, his face contorting in terror as a beast lunges for him. The other Changfeng warrior clashes with the alpha, his axe meeting the creature's powerful jaws. He quickly realizes their coordinated attack patterns make them far more dangerous than their level suggests. Another teammate struggles to hold the line, admitting they're being overwhelmed by the sheer number of foes. The female warrior leaps through the fray, trying to rally the scattered team and form a defensive line. Her focus is broken by a desperate shout as the alpha beast lunges at her unprotected back. She turns just in time, her eyes widening in shock as the creature's jaws close in. But before the beast can land its fatal blow, a familiar purple spatial grid materializes, stopping the attack cold. He materializes in a flash, his blade poised to cut down the beast that threatened his teammate. Director Mo looks on with a relieved smile, her faith in his abilities clearly paying off. He stands protectively in front of her, his sudden arrival turning the tide of the battle. A teammate quickly warns him that despite his dramatic entrance, they are still hopelessly outnumbered. He calmly dismisses the warning, confident that a pack of level 2 beasts is no match for his power. With a focused glare, he channels his energy, preparing to unleash the full might of his sword. A massive wave of crimson energy erupts from his blade, blasting through the first wave of enemies. Not stopping there, he summons a colossal vortex of cyan lightning that fills the sky. The swirling storm descends upon the battlefield, its immense power warping the very air around them. The entire beast pack is caught in the maelstrom, helplessly swept up by the overwhelming force. Far away, a powerful entity's glowing eye snaps open, sensing a new presence in its domain. A monstrous guardian of the realm realizes the key has returned, its silhouette crackling with lightning. He lands gracefully in the crater he created, the last of the beasts now just a memory. His glowing eyes narrow as he feels a subtle, unsettling shift in the realm's energy. He theorizes his new space talent is making him aware of a dangerous instability in this dimension. The rest of the team can only stare in awe, praising him for a feat of power they thought was impossible. Director Mo approaches, sincerely thanking him for preventing a massacre. He brushes off the praise, immediately asking if the entire team has managed to regroup. She confirms their numbers are low, with many still missing 2 hours after her signal. He questions the presence of the Changfeng warriors, but she assures him they're on a separate, non-interfering mission. Director Mo admits the realm is far more dangerous than she anticipated, changing their mission to a direct hunt for the Zhuanyuan Chalcedony. He agrees with her assessment, sensing a fatal aura in the realm and questioning if their prize is worth the mounting risk. He explains he avoided asking about the treasure to prevent temptation, but now he needs to know if the reward justifies the danger to everyone. She reveals the Zhuanyuan chalcedony is a legendary treasure that allows martial artists to shatter their physical limits and double their power. With a confident smile, she asks if a higher growth ceiling and immense power are worth the risk they're taking. He internally agrees, knowing his unique absorption system will amplify the treasure's effects far beyond normal limits. With his mind made up, he gives the order to move out, ready to claim the prize. Director Mo activates the Manhwa plate, explaining it will guide them to the energy-rich location where the treasure grows. The plate unleashes a brilliant beam of light, acting as a compass pointing toward a distant mountain range. The light reveals their target as a towering spire, guarded by a monstrous winged beast and its loyal pack. The realm's guardian senses the Manhwa plate's aura and commands its minions to retrieve the key. A winged beast answers the call, taking flight to intercept the intruders. Meanwhile, the team follows the plate's guidance through a dense, shadowy forest. Their journey is cut short as a winged creature ambushes them, taking down a team member in a flash. The protagonist's eyes narrow, recognizing they've walked straight into a deadly beast attack. The entire team draws their weapons, bracing for a fight as Director Mo shouts a warning. Another warrior is struck, and Director Mo urgently warns the team that the creature's attacks are venomous. The protagonist's gaze locks onto another winged beast diving down from the canopy. With a determined snarl, he grips his sword, ready to meet the new threat head-on. He unleashes a powerful slash, his massive blade arcing through the air to intercept the attacker. His blade connects with the beast's wing, but the attack is stopped cold by its surprisingly tough hide. He stares in disbelief, realizing his sword, which can slice through gold, can't even scratch the creature's fur. The creature is identified as a golden-winged poisonous fox, a level 2 beast with a fierce look. The team realizes with dread that they're surrounded by a whole pack of these foxes, which are supposed to be solitary hunters. One of the winged foxes lets out a vicious snarl as it dives in for the attack. The other warriors struggle, their own blades proving useless against the beast's impenetrable fur. Director Mo notes that these creatures, like the last pack, are far stronger and faster than their level suggests. The protagonist's sharp ears pick up a strange sound, realizing the beasts are being given orders. Just then, the ground erupts in front of Director Mo as a new enemy ambushes them from below. A pangolin-like creature snatches the Manhwa plate from her grasp before she can react. Director Mo shouts in fury, demanding the return of the stolen artifact as the pangolin beast makes its escape. A winged fox lands on the pangolin's back, its claws digging in to secure its partner for a quick getaway. The fox takes flight with its cargo, confirming Director Mo's suspicion that the two species are working together. Refusing to let them escape, the protagonist leaps into the air, wreathed in cyan energy. He lands squarely on the winged beast's back, forcing a pained roar from the creature. As Director Mo gives chase, he holds his ground on the bucking beast, ready to strike. She urgently warns him that the beasts are cooperating with a clear plan to steal the Manhwa plate. He confirms he's noticed their strategy, suspecting a highly intelligent beast is commanding them from the shadows. Activating his space perception, he scans the area with a purple grid, determined to find the hidden leader. His enhanced vision immediately locks onto a ghostly winged figure, revealing the mastermind behind the ambush. He activates his space transfer, tearing through a purple vortex to confront the hidden leader. Materializing from the portal, he appears directly behind the unsuspecting winged beast. The creature reveals its full form, a powerful humanoid wolf with massive wings and intelligent eyes. He brings his blade down, noting the beast's surprisingly human-like posture and tactics. The beast effortlessly blocks the powerful strike with its bare hand, proving its immense strength. He uses his speed to create afterimages, testing the creature's defenses from multiple angles. He analyzes his opponent, realizing its intelligence is near level 5, even if its attack power is lower. The winged beast tries to flee, taking to the sky to escape the relentless warrior. Refusing to let it escape, he activates his space transfer again, determined to end the fight. He teleports directly above the creature, his blade poised to deliver a decisive blow from the air. He channels his lightning, driving his blade down with overwhelming force against the beast's desperate block. The sheer power of his attack sends the winged creature plummeting to the ground, shattering the earth on impact. Landing gracefully, he raises his sword again, wreathed in purple energy and ready to press his advantage. He ends the fight with a final, decisive plunge, driving his blade deep into the downed beast. Standing over the shadow of his defeated foe, he takes a moment to process the difficult battle. He realizes with a grimace that the beast's physical strength was far greater than its level suggested, nearly matching a level 5 creature. Director Mo rushes to his side, her relief evident as she calls out his name. She admits the beasts in this realm are unnaturally strong, acknowledging they would have been lost without him. Agreeing with her assessment, he decides to investigate the creature's internal energy for clues about its strange power. He reaches into the fallen beast's maw, preparing to absorb its essence and uncover its secrets. Just as he begins his investigation, a shadowy figure with an axe looms over him, poised for a surprise attack. He leaps away just in time, dodging the powerful blow that shatters the ground where he stood. The attacker reveals himself to be a masked warrior in green robes, wielding a massive double-bladed axe. The mysterious warrior charges forward, swinging his weapon with surprising speed and aggression. The protagonist quickly assesses his new opponent, realizing his power is far greater than his peak artist rank suggests. The two warriors clash in a blur of motion, their blades sparking as they trade blows across the clearing. He notices the attacker isn't targeting him, but is trying to get to the body of the defeated winged beast. The masked man leaps into the air, bringing his axe down in a powerful overhead strike to clear his path. Their weapons collide with a massive impact, the force of the blow stopping the protagonist in his tracks. Unwilling to be overpowered, he unleashes his lightning talent, doubling his power to meet the challenge head-on. The protagonist's electrified blade meets the axe, unleashing a torrent of purple lightning. The masked man's face twists in shock, stunned by the sudden surge of power. He's forced back as the crackling energy arcs dangerously close to his face. The protagonist presses his advantage, his lightning-charged attack overwhelming his opponent's defense. The masked warrior barely dodges a follow-up strike, his axe slamming into the ground beside him. He glares back, his torn mask revealing inhuman fangs as he admits it was a close call. The protagonist realizes his opponent, while human, possesses the savage aura of a ferocious beast. Before he can act, a second masked figure, a woman, ambushes the first, turning the fight into a three-way conflict. Director Mo shouts a warning as the two intruders begin to flee, confirming they're an unknown faction. Just as they make their escape, a volley of silver arrows streaks through the air, aimed directly at the fleeing pair. Director Mo watches in alarm as the protagonist dodges a sudden volley of arrows from a third party. An arrow narrowly misses her, her eyes widening as she realizes they're being targeted. The protagonist pivots, his sharp gaze tracking the projectiles as he prepares for another new enemy. A third masked figure, an archer with a crossbow, leaps from the trees to join the fray. But before he can fire again, his female accomplice stops him, signaling a retreat. The intruders activate a device, engulfing themselves in a swirling vortex of blue light to make their escape. The protagonist deduces they used a space item to teleport, realizing the three were imposters who replaced familiar Jade House members. He stands over the winged beast's body, questioning what secret it holds that would warrant such a coordinated attack. Elsewhere in the realm, the Changfeng warriors continue their own separate mission near a towering mountain range. The male warrior proudly holds a rare spiritual herb, amazed by the incredible value of the treasures found in this place. The female warrior finds the lack of beasts suspicious, while her partner is content to gather resources in peace. Her sharp senses suddenly flare, and she pulls her teammate into the bushes as someone approaches. From their hiding spot, they watch the three masked intruders from the earlier battle walk by. The axe-wielding warrior rips off his damaged mask, complaining about how tough the protagonist and Director Mo were. His leader scolds him, furious that they failed to secure the beast's body and were exposed during the rescue. The female warrior's eyes widen in shock as she finally gets a clear look at the leader's face. She recognizes him as Nie Yu, a member of another Grandmaster's personal escort team. Her confusion grows as she wonders why he's disguised in Jade House robes instead of being on his own mission. The leader decides to change their objective, prioritizing the treasure Director Mo is after over the beast's body. He then confidently assures his men that the beast's corpse is far more valuable to their superiors than anything else in the realm. Director Mo confirms his theory, noting the beast's power far exceeds its official level 2 rank. He connects this to the realm's entry rules, suspecting the beasts are also capped at level 2. She finds this idea baffling, wondering how a realm's natural energy could limit its own creatures. Unsettled by the mystery, he decides their best move is to grab the treasure and get out fast. The remaining team members press on, venturing deeper into the strange, silent forest. The Manhwa plate's guiding light finally leads them to the mouth of a vast, crystalline cave. Director Mo orders the team to wait outside, deciding she and the protagonist will explore the cave alone. Inside, they find the cave is pulsing with energy, so potent that it condenses into glowing liquid drops. The two of them cautiously navigate the icy interior, the air thick with power. He notes the unnatural silence, realizing all the vital energy is being drawn toward the cave's deepest point. He correctly deduces that all this concentrated energy must be forming the Zhuanyuan chalcedony. Director Mo's eyes light up with excitement, confirming their prize is just around the corner. They venture deeper, finding themselves in a chamber where the raw energy is so thick it swirls like water. Suspended between two crystal shards, a glowing blue orb of liquid materializes, the source of the immense power. The Zhuanyuan chalcedony pulses with a brilliant light, its power radiating throughout the entire cave. Director Mo reaches for the treasure, explaining its legendary ability to shatter a warrior's physical limitations. The protagonist calmly counts the glowing orbs, realizing there are 10 of the priceless treasures in total. She gratefully offers him half the spoils, admitting she couldn't have succeeded without his protection. He accepts his share, already calculating the massive power boost he's about to receive. But his victory is cut short by a new suspicion, questioning if this treasure is truly the source of the cave's power, much to Director Mo's shock. Director Mo realizes he's right, questioning why the true energy hub isn't where the treasure was found. She confirms his suspicion, admitting the chalcedony holds only a fraction of the cave's immense power. The protagonist confidently points to a solid wall, declaring the real source of energy is hidden right there. He touches the wall, revealing a rippling spatial barrier that's been concealing the true prize. Deciding there must be a greater treasure behind it, he suggests they venture through the hidden portal. Without hesitation, the two of them leap through the shimmering barrier into the unknown chamber. His senses immediately scream a warning as they're hit by an overwhelming wave of energy. Both warriors are forced onto the defensive, bracing against the immense pressure inside the hidden room. Director Mo shields herself, her expression grim as she faces the raw, untamed power. They look up to find the true source, a massive, swirling vortex identified as the legendary Boundary Origin Stone. This legendary stone is the very heart of the realm, a treasure that grants its user mastery over the fabric of space itself. Director Mo connects the dots, realizing he possesses a rare space talent after witnessing his teleportation skill in the last fight. He casually downplays his power, admitting he has a level 2 space talent but claims it's not yet fully mastered. She's stunned by his revelation, recognizing that his legendary talent makes him an invaluable and powerful ally. Director Mo explains the stone is protected by deadly energy hurricanes, making his teleportation the only way to retrieve it. She generously offers him the stone, knowing it will guarantee a massive power-up for his existing talent. Without a moment's hesitation, he activates his space transfer, diving through a portal to claim his prize. He expertly navigates the deadly vortex, his hand reaching out to snatch the cosmic artifact from its protective field. As his fingers close around the stone, his eyes widen, sensing the immense and untamed power now in his grasp. Far away, the realm's true guardian senses the theft, its powerful silhouette crackling with fury atop a frozen spire. He lands back in the cave, his mind reeling as the realm's secrets are suddenly laid bare before him. Director Mo congratulates him as he presents the legendary Boundary Origin Stone, their mission a success. He explains that the stone has revealed the truth. The beast's immense power is cracking the realm's foundation, forcing their levels to be suppressed. Director Mo's face pales as she realizes the terrifying implication. They've been fighting creatures with the true strength of level 5 beasts. Knowing the danger they're in, he insists they absorb the treasures immediately to prepare for the inevitable fight to escape. He lays out his strategy. They'll use the cave's natural barrier to safely boost their power without advancing their rank, maximizing their combat potential. He acknowledges the vulnerability of his plan, admitting it requires a level of trust rarely shared between warriors. Director Mo readily agrees, her confidence in him solidifying as she recognizes his unique and intriguing nature. With their alliance confirmed, the two warriors sit opposite each other, preparing to absorb the immense energy of the treasures they've found. He closes his eyes, a brilliant golden aura erupting around him as he begins to assimilate the legendary power. With his power surging, he commands his system to calculate his new combat data. The results confirm he's shattered his physical limits, his strength now rivaling even late-stage martial artists. Seeing he still has time, he decides to fuse with the Boundary Origin Stone to further enhance his space talent. He holds the cosmic artifact, channeling his energy into the crystal to begin the fusion process. The stone shatters unexpectedly, releasing its immense power in a blinding flash of light. He's suddenly transported to a mental landscape, finding himself floating in the middle of a vast, star-filled galaxy. Raw cosmic energy courses through him, violently integrating with his own power. His eyes transform, reflecting the entire universe as he fully absorbs the stone's essence. Back in the cave, he gasps for breath, trying to process the overwhelming sensation of starlight merging with his very being. He examines the now drained crystal, realizing he has successfully claimed the heart of the realm's power for himself. He watches as the last remnants of the Boundary Origin Stone crumble in his hand. Still reeling from the power-up, he wonders just how much his space talent has evolved. His system confirms the upgrade, doubling his perception range and granting him a new portable space ability. Intrigued by the new skill, he examines a small purple cube that materializes in his palm. A glowing purple sigil forms on his hand, the key to his new pocket dimension. He immediately tests the ability, channeling energy to create a large, transparent cube of spatial energy. He grits his teeth, realizing his current power level limits the size of the space he can create. Still, he's satisfied with the nearly 20 cubic meter pocket dimension, knowing it will grow with him. His experiment is interrupted by Director Mo's triumphant cry as she successfully shatters her own physical limits. She clenches her fist, feeling the surge of new strength that now qualifies her for the Master Realm. He calmly congratulates Director Mo, who jumps in surprise, having been completely unaware of his presence. She admits her excitement over breaking her limits made her oblivious, while he reveals he's been watching her the whole time. She notes his aura feels strangely ethereal, making him almost invisible within the cave's powerful energy. He explains that by fusing with the realm's core, he now shares its very essence, effectively camouflaging him. Director Mo's expression turns serious as she considers the strategic advantage of his new ability. Their conversation is cut short as he senses a disturbance, realizing something is happening outside. The scene shifts to their teammates, who are desperately fighting off a surprise attack from a pack of wolf-like monsters. One of the warriors cries out as a beast's claw shatters his blade with a single powerful swipe. His comrade rushes to his side, but a massive, menacing shadow suddenly looms over them both. The warrior's eyes widen in alarm as he looks up, realizing they're facing a new, more powerful enemy. A massive, humanoid wolf beast emerges, its imposing figure striking fear into the cornered warriors. The creature lashes out with blinding speed, its razor-sharp claws slicing through the air. It unleashes a powerful energy attack, its roar echoing as it prepares to finish them off. The surviving team members can only watch in horror, completely overwhelmed by the beast's power. But the protagonist arrives just in time, his presence immediately noticed by his relieved and impressed teammates. He launches himself into the fray, his expression one of pure, focused determination. His blade clashes with the beast's claws, stopping the powerful attack in a brilliant flash of light. He gracefully evades a follow-up strike, moving with a speed that leaves the creature stunned. His glowing eyes lock onto his target, assessing the beast's strength and looking for an opening. He leaps over one wolf while a larger one lunges from below, expertly navigating the chaotic battlefield. He unleashes a devastating slash of purple energy, effortlessly cutting down one of the wolf beasts. With a single sweep of his blade, he clears the immediate area, leaving a trail of defeated monsters. In stark contrast, one of the other warriors struggles just to land a single blow, his desperation clear. The protagonist finishes the pack with a final, cross-shaped energy blast, freezing the remaining beasts in their tracks. His teammates can only stare, wondering if the rumors of him being the strongest in his realm were actually an understatement. Director Mo watches with a mix of awe and concern, realizing his potential for growth is almost frightening. But the victory is short-lived as a heavy footstep cracks the ground, heralding a much stronger presence. The protagonist's sharp senses immediately pick up on the new threat, his gaze turning to face the challenge. A new, more intelligent-looking wolf beast emerges from the shadows, its posture revealing it's the pack's true leader. Its glowing purple eyes lock onto the protagonist as it speaks, demanding he hand over the key its king desires.